This NFL Props Week 7 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. I don't mean to plug another YouTube channel.
Okay.
But I'm wearing this beautiful Milano Siemens jacket to support John Gruden.
Yeah.
He's a
former coach of the Italian football
He
team.
might be a better content creator than coach. Not even kidding.
He's doing this weird character, I guess, where he's like, he's all like cracked out. Well, he's going by the name Chucky. Joining us in studio, the laddie daddy himself, Mr. CJ Sullivan from the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. What's happening, CJ?
What's up? And I enjoy Gruden, and I enjoy his Alex Jones turn he's doing down there. I'm going to say just another thing that's infringing on my intellectual property.
Oh wow, what Alex Jones?
Well,
impression?
he's kind of like doing a man in the box.
Of course, he's doing a man in a box thing where he's just down in the basement by himself, screaming about all these things that he sees here. I'm the man in the box. I'm the laddie daddy. I'm the one who throws it out there. But you know what? I'm just glad it's relevant. Get it out there. Makes fun.
I mean, Gruden.
I love Gruden.
You know, his personal emails aside, seems like a guy. He's a fun guy to have in the football context.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I know about him. Why did he do something else? Was he also a coach or something?
I just know him from his emails.
I love his emails.
I'm a huge fan of the emails.
Hilarious.
I mean, how many other coaches and administrators and people who work in the NFL circles really enjoyed him calling Goodell a pussy?
Oh, that's when he said
Could be a cult hero thing.
When he called the commissioner a football hating pussy, it was like, all right, here we have, and they weren't even going back to that story just real quick. They weren't. It's not like they were investigating John Gruden.
No,
they were investigating the Washington Redskins for sexual harassment, and the only one found culpable of anything was Gruden, who also called Goodell a pussy in an email. That doesn't seem unrelated to me. But again, we love our commissioner. Shout out to you, Roger Goodell. Can't do anything wrong. Of course, we got plenty of props. We got our 5 props. We got our DGen only parlay. We got an underdog entry. We got it all. But before we even get to that, we got a special guest on the line joining us remote. You know him, you love him. He's a social media phenomenon. Goes by the handle GRP Wins on X, aka Twitter. George, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for having me on. And holy smoke, you guys are full of energy. How am I going to compete with you three? And I'm so jealous. You guys are in Southern California, and we'll try to have some fun. And I'm a long-term prop guy. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll talk props. We'll talk, but I got to know kind of how you got in to sports social media, sports gambling content. See, maybe like a late career change here, because I've just seen you blowing up on X. You're going back and forth with other people in the space. How did you get started in social media, sports gambling content? I think a lot of people would love to know that.
Well, real simple. They had the big Supreme Court ruling in May of 2018, and that basically legalized sports gambling. Any state that wanted to have it could have it. And basically, I knew on that date that sports gambling was going to explode. And what happened was, when I was younger, 25, 30 years ago, that was my vice. But I was also a very good sports gambler. So I, kind of opened up some old data and got some new data, and I knew it was going to take off. And I started. I was one of the first guys that kind of just used Twitter to document my picks. So I was tweeting out my picks at kickoff, trying to be an honest guy. And then I had a good year in 2018, the first one. Then I had the worst year of my career in 2019. It was just mentally, it was just, it affects you. And then I documented handicappers for a couple of years. And then last year, I'm pulling on my nails because I bite my cuticles, and my cuticles started bleeding. And next thing you know, I'm bleeding on my notebook, and I'm making a video of it, and that kind of started the whole thing.
Maybe
Who is this weirdo?
Yeah, I think that's how you got on my radar. I'm like, hey, this guy, he's writing meticulously all his picks. He's filming them. He's giving reviews of pancakes. I think, that's really what
we notice people that use the analog method.
Yeah,
we
pen
love
and paper.
Yeah, we love a good pen and paper.
I'm a huge fan of the old data.
Let's see it.
I have my own clipboard. I pull out. I know.
Yeah,
there's the clipboard. NFL team, right? Handwritten notes always. They'd make me bring the laptop in for work. It's just for show. It's not even plugged in. It's a prop, right? I actually write on that. But I'm a fan of your notebook. I'm a fan of the spiral notebook, and then showing it to the camera.
Yeah.
And then the long form of entertainment.
It's transparency.
That's old data that I wanted part of.
Now, George, you seem to have carved out a niche here as a critic of other sports gambling content,
keeping tabs,
or other sports gambling creators, handicappers. What are some pet peeves that you hate seeing in the sports gambling content space?
Well, you know what? I hate the people that don't have integrity. And the scary thing about my notebook is when I have some bad picks or have I write them down, and then there's the next pick and the next pick. So, for example, right now my worst position is I'll come right out and say it. I got Minnesota under 7 wins. I got 20 props going.
I was on it as well.
Right. With over 40,000 in play, and I have one horrendous position. And of course, needless to say, I have some of my followers keep reminding me of how bad it is. But hey, when you write things in a notebook, you just can't get rid of it because there's another pick after that. It's scary.
Because you can see the shards if you try to rip it out.
Yeah.
You rip out the notebook. Hey, whoa, what's those shards there?
There's no backspace on a notebook. I think that's, to me, we have a war against the term lean in the sports gambling content space because, hey, if you don't have a pick, you don't have a pick. But a lean, to me, feels like you're kind of hedging, right? It's like, hey, if this hits, then it's like, oh, see, I told you I was leaning that way the entire time. And if it doesn't hit, well, it wasn't an official play. It was a lean. Lean is one of my pet peeves in the content space.
You know what? That's a great point. Other people use these. There's 3 terms they use: lean, pizza money, and couch change. So these are the 3 terms these guys use, and I don't know what they mean. Some people take it, some people really mean, some people don't. But your point is so great, and everyone uses a way to hedge out of what they say, because the reality is it's hard to make money. It's hard to make money in this industry. It really is. Hard to bet sports. It's not easy.
And pizzas are expensive. That's a big bet nowadays.
Yeah,
that's
$30.
That's the same thing, right?
Large pizza's like
that's a full unit.
That's like half a tank of gas. What do you use in you document handicappers? What do you use as far as your criteria? Like I know recently you decided you're going to start tracking Adam Chernoff. What did you use to decide, hey, why are you going to track him? Is it good or bad to be tracked by GRP Wins? Because in some ways, maybe it's giving him a little free publicity. What's your take on who and why you track certain handicappers?
That's a great point regarding publicity. Even the little negative publicity is good. So regarding VSiN and Follow the Money and Mitch and Pauly, even though I'm attacking their main guest, you can also make the argument I'm giving publicity to the show.
Yeah.
So from their point of view, they're probably in the end going to be net winners. I agree with you on that. Regarding Adam Chernoff, he's got a double segment on Follow the Money. He was interviewed by Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
And now
he loved the Panthers on Colin Cowherd's show, if you recall.
I got news for you. All you got to do is Google Adam Chernoff, Colin Cowherd. It's a 12-minute thing. He loved the Jets. He loved the Panthers. He hated Pittsburgh, but he did make a couple positive comments. So in reality, he's about 2 and 3 on his Colin Cowherd comments.
All right.
And right now he's on the negative side with all of his picks on Follow the Money. So, I'm like, this guy's got 3 things going. I got to check him out. So I just literally, with technology now, I just looked at every old episode of Follow the Money for this year. It took me maybe 2 hours to do. I found every single comment. I wrote down every single one of his picks. And right now he's negative for the year. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. Seems like more than negative. And I'm all for the emperor has no clothes technique because no one's ever come after Chernoff. You're going after the king. And but how do you calculate his picks, though? Because I'm like, because it seemed like there's a lot of picks. Like, he went like 5 and 10 like in one segment, because he's usually a guy who, speaking of leans, doesn't really give an opinion.
He does use the word lean.
He'll give it one or two. So what do you constitute as a pick for him?
Well, I would say literally maybe 80% of the time he says, I have, it's my pick or I bet it. So I do a kind of,
Okay.
He will use what's funny is since I went public about 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
the week afterwards, he had a cold. I mean, literally, you could tell I just completely rattled this guy. And then this last
rattled him and his immune system. I like
right.
that.
Yeah.
This last week, he used the word lean 3 times, which he's never done that before.
Never done.
He's really, I mean, I've really affected this poor guy. But I declared 2 weeks ago because I said, if he says lean, I'll count it. If he says this, I'll count it. So to me, a lean for him is like a half a pick, but I just count it as a pick. So
it's a pick.
You got to determine what you're going to count, what you don't. He's still
I agree
negative
with
for
you.
the year, and we'll see what happens.
I agree with you. If he puts it out there, it's a pick. I mean, he's on TV. He's doing it. It's
100%.
reckless. You can't just say, "Oh, that's not
100%.
my play." Right.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly, 100%.
Yeah, and we've had Adam on. Kramer. I think we were both somewhat positive on the Jets, not looking so good.
Oh, we
so
have
far.
lots of bad takes.
Yeah, no, and our show.
But that's the point. I think most people try to delete their bad takes or erase them.
Well, especially with the fantasy Twitter, those guys are notorious for deleting some of their bad takes. And yeah, the thing about doing content, hey, when your picks suck, people come at you and you go, hey, yeah, I at the time I thought that was a great play. Obviously, in hindsight, I was wrong, and you move on to the next week. It's not that crazy. It's to your point where people are trying to hide and make it seem better than they are.
Well, I've been inspired by you, George, and I've been keeping tabs on these two jokers with my own notebooks and pen and paper. And
thanks, George.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Now I got the extra heat.
Page 1 is their Will Levis takes. They thought they liked him to lead a league in
did
passing yards.
notoriously like Will Levis, so it was a long shot bet, and
that's in the book. I'm just saying it's in the book and it's staying in the book.
You can't win them all.
now you
Well,
see
you know what?
Yes,
I'll admit, 2 years ago, going into before the draft, I had Will Levis at 60-1 to be the first pick in the draft. So I lost $1,000,
Sorry.
because he had a good upside. But there's something wrong with the guy. There's a certain thing he doesn't have, and we've all been wrong on picks. We've all done it before.
He's an unserious person, as they say.
he's completely rattled. Well, also while you're interesting on Twitter and a good follow at GRP Wins is you obviously you're covering NFL gambling, but then you also share some other interests, including what you're eating for breakfast. Yeah. There was some talk recently about going to a reptile convention. Never gone to a reptile convention. What the hell happens at a reptile convention?
Well, the funny thing is, the last reptile convention I was at was probably 25 years ago in Pomona, California, which is 45 minutes east of of LA.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just like it's a big, it's like a warehouse the size of a football field. And there's a bunch of people that breed reptiles and lizards and this and that. And you can go there and buy these exotic animals. They sell baby animals, and they're all over the country. So in the city of Chicago, there's probably 1 or 2 a year. In California, they have theirs. And it just rotates around the whole country, and these little people, breed their animals. I was going to go, but I'm such a neurotic. I didn't go because they didn't have my pecan pancakes at my Cracker Barrel restaurant nearby, so I canceled at the last minute.
Right.
Oh no!
I was very upset about that. I'm a Cracker Barrel enthusiast myself. I have the hat I usually wear.
CJ was kicking himself for not bringing his Cracker Barrel hat.
And I was following along the lines. And then you said, well, the last thing I need is another reptile. But yet it's been 25 years since you've been to one?
Yeah, literally, I used to live in Orange County. Literally, it was in Pomona also.
I've seen the Pomona signs for the reptile convention.
I mean, to me, it sounded like a great Saturday. Cracker Barrel and reptiles, but then
well, we all know what happens in the corner too. Yeah. Every convention has that dark corner where they're just selling porn. Yeah. So I assume that goes down at the reptile convention.
Hey, you like snakes and chicks.
Yeah.
Well, 30 years ago, maybe you were right. Yeah. 30 years ago, maybe that happened, right?
Do you have a favorite reptile? Like, if you're a power ranking snakes, like what would be your top couple snakes or reptiles?
Yeah, I'm a snake guy. The California king snake is a beautiful animal. I've never seen one of those. When I used to live there, I did see gopher snakes and rattlesnakes. But the California king, it's kind of a dark blue with this white or yellow band. It's a beautiful animal. And it eats rattlesnakes.
Wow.
That's snake on snake crime. That's crazy. I didn't know there were snakes that eat other snakes like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, now George, I've also been following you in the comeback player of the year market. Seem to be leading this charge. There's a lot of Mike Florio is saying Sam Darnold isn't eligible. Mike Florio has no idea what he's talking about there because Sam Darnold is eligible. They re-released the guidelines saying it should be about. Basically implying it should be about someone coming back from injury because they didn't like that DeMar Hamlin didn't get comeback player of the year. I still think he should have got it. He literally came back from the dead to play football. That to me, you're not beating that comeback. So they re-released it. Now you have been a guy who have been riding the Sam Darnold ticket. Now certainly these voters can vote for whatever they want. So there is a world where Sam Darnold could win this. Maybe they do get swayed by the re-release of the guidelines. Maybe they don't. But what's your take on the comeback player of the year market? And are you worried now because Florio's making a big fuss about him being ineligible?
It's a great question, and there's so many gray areas here. All I know is after a couple weeks, I bet Sam Darnold getting 10-1. I bet 1,000. And now the new guy, these official guidelines came out, and like you said, in the end, there's guidelines, but there's about 50 people. The other weird thing is I found out there's about 50 people in the country that actually vote for all these AP awards. And so I have my bet. And technically, is he eligible to win or not? I don't know. Number 3, who's the person that actually counts the votes? You have people voting, and then you have someone counting the vote. So there's so many gray areas here, and I'm betting on these awards, and 50 people determine who win. So who knows what the whole thing is crazy. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I was going to say, I like how you're suggesting that there might be more questions than answers when it comes to this red carpet award show.
Stop the steal.
I mean, look, we saw it last year. The second they did not give the award to someone who died and came back, it became a crapshoot. So, and I'm going to be stick to my stomach because I had the Darnold MVP comeback player of the year tickets last year.
He had it last year. You're ahead, unfortunately for Ryan. Let's talk about this weekend, George. What's on your card? I know you've revealed some stuff on the notebook. Any props? Any bets you like here for NFL Week 7?
Yeah, I got one game. I'm not like the kind of guy that bets 5 games. Last week my big winner was Detroit. I called it actually perfect hammered against Dallas. That was easy. This week
you instructed anyone to bet Dallas to not go to work and do not have sex with your wife,
which is beautiful.
I do like that.
Fantastic. Because listen, performance just ain't there.
And Sean and I haven't picked the Cowboys in ever.
Right.
Never picked them.
No, never picked them. But
never picked them.
I'm with you. You don't have any mojo if you like the Cowboys in that spot. 100% agree. Now, what's your mojo play for this week?
Real simple. I have the 49ers against Kansas City.
Wow.
The Super Bowl revenge. That's half the story right there. The 49ers want to get even. Kansas City, they've been they've won every game, but they just looked okay, nothing great. Mahomes, he throws one bad pick a game this year, and hey, we've all been right before, we've all been wrong before. So I got the 49ers -1. We all know they got a lot of talent, and Brock Purdy, he looks so simple, but the guy knows how to play. He can play the game. And I got the 49ers in a revenge thing. I don't think Kansas City's going to be up for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the other side, but I see the case for the 49ers. I'm old school. I like Andy Reid off a bye. Mahomes is a dog, but I see the case, the Super Bowl revenge. I think if you're making a case for the 49ers, the Eagles were able to get their Super Bowl revenge in the regular season against the Chiefs. So that's kind of an angle to look into as well. What about props for Week 7? Any props you like, George?
I'm for example, I just put a prop on 3 or 4 days ago on the Jets. I have the Jets over 8.5 wins. I put it on after the trade.
Okay.
I'm getting +130, so I need them to go 7-4 the rest of the year. They got a lot of talent, and I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but let's be honest, the guy has slowed down. He's not what he used to be. But as far as props, I literally just put on this week props for the season.
Nice schedule for the Jets too.
Yeah, and exactly right. It's a decent schedule. You got to look at the schedule before you make a bet. And just to clarify a misconception about me, before I make a bet, I always check 3 or 4 books. I'm always looking for the best number.
For a number.
Because there's a misconception about me that I don't care what number, and that's not true at all. But yes,
a myth, if you will. I heard it was a myth you need cleared up.
Thank you, because it is true. I do say the most important thing is what team you bet. It's way more important than the number. And it is that's like a fact. But
Yeah.
people think that I don't care what number I get. Before I make a bet, I always look for the number. So you know,
shop around.
I mean, my God, I got over 8.5 wins, plus 130, and I think it's way better than these people bet. Oh, they have to go to the playoffs. This team can win 9 games and not go to the playoffs. So I like my bet. You got to look around. There's these props. There's so many different angles. There's so many different ways to look at it. And you know, I hope it works.
Love it. Yeah, I see the case for the Jets buying in. Kramer, are you in on the Jets?
I like that angle versus the playoff price.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right there, especially in the AFC, pretty crowded. So,
But yeah, I mean, vibes are high, right? Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are skipping around the locker room.
That being said, I kind of like the Steelers at home as a home dog. Tomlin is
maybe
a dog.
wait a week. Wait a week.
I'm always going to be in on that. Well, George, appreciate you calling in. Good luck with the props. Good luck with the picks. Good luck with tracking other people's picks.
You're doing the Lord's work. Keeping tabs
on
these gurus.
Take it easy on us. We're big fans, and give them a follow on X at GRP Wins. Appreciate it, George.
John, CJ, and Ryan, thanks, buddy. Let's do it in a month or two.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
sir.
Let it ride.
Cheers.
Love it.
Of course.
George.
We are brought to you by BetUS, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Get in over there. Get a nice deposit over there. Lightning fast deposit and withdrawals. That sweet cryptocurrency. Use the promo code SGPN and our link, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. America's favorite sports book. A bet on pro football, college football. I heard CJ chirping about the WNBA. They got it all over. Did you have a bad beat in the WNBA, CJ?
I finish the read. I don't want the sponsors being involved in this.
Okay, well,
all right. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS.
I'll say this. I had the money line on Minnesota last night.
Oh no.
I know they covered plus 3.5, but they did not cover the money line. And that's what I was most heavy on.
they didn't cover the money line.
They were up 20 whole game and they blew the lead, which is fine. They blew the lead. That's happened. It's happened in every game so far in the finals. I don't like how they don't talk about it. It's just blown layup after blown layup. I don't know if they have to lower the rim because it's too. I'm saying a 3-point shot for them is easier than a layup.
Yeah.
The layup, it's so far away. They're heaving it up there. It's going over the backboard. Brianna Stewart.
That's why the analytics say shoot more threes.
That's what I'm saying. Well, they say layups and threes.
Layups are hard.
Layups are impossible for these ladies. Brianna Stewart, game 1. They blew like a 20-point lead in New York. Minnesota had this great comeback, and they went overtime. Brianna Stewart had a wide open layup to tie it, to send it double overtime, and just like bricked it long and high, no rim, no nothing. But what I'm mad is they don't even bring it up. I'm like, this is why there's not equality in sports, because you should have her life should be ruined. Patrick Ewing's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. I still think about him missing that layup versus Indiana. That's all they talk about.
How dare you bring that up?
We want death threats on Brianna Stewart. Even if she does win the championship, that's how much of a choke job it was. They don't even mention it. They're like, it's all about nice and positivity.
It is weird.
Think about it.
This is sports. You should be threatening to kill the other players.
That's what I'm saying. It should ruin your life.
Deranged.
You make a great point. When an NBA player lives beyond their means, they're dragged through the mud in the media. When Angel Reese talks about how the WNBA isn't even paying her rent, people are applauding her.
A reasonable $8K a month. Rent.
Applauding her.
What city is she living in? Where it's
also
maybe
get a mortgage there at $8K a month.
Is that Chicago?
It has
It's
to
not
be,
in
right?
George's neighborhood. I'll tell you that much.
If every pro athlete would just just buy versus rent, they'd be in a better spot.
Just sound financial advice.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I would say in the locker room after I said "nice bag, bro" to Joe Burrow.
All right, let's get to some financial advice. And some places say this is not financial advice.
Really,
this is definitely financial advice. Our props here. I'm going to kick things off. Love the matchup here, Seattle. And we just put out the clip where I said I'm going to stop fading the Falcons. That didn't happen. Kramer talked me into Seattle.
Well, that was the problem. I tried to find a reason to be on the Falcons, and then I realized that no.
I especially like Seattle because they're getting that a couple extra days of rest. And for me, the Seattle, while I think Geno Smith can throw the ball, I think Kenneth Walker has a good matchup against this Falcons defense. Kenneth Walker over 67.5 rushing yards. Chuba Hubbard just put up 92 against this Falcons defense. I think they're going to be able to eat. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up being a bit of a shootout. Falcons 24th in rush defensive EPA. I like Kenneth Walker. He's had a couple slow games. He was a little banged up last couple, but I think he goes back to his early season form. So Kenneth Walker, big day, over 67.5 rush yards.
For a second, I thought I was going to say, really, we have the same prop.
What is yours?
Of the whole slate, we landed on the Geno Smith over 258.5.
Yeah,
passing I mean, not only has he been going over this number just in general, we highlighted on the pick show how good he's been inside. He's gone over this total in his last 6 dome games as well. So I don't know where this number is coming from. I understand it feels a little inflated, but you saw DK Metcalf like pulling a headset off of a coach to put the headset on himself to talk to offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. This team's going to cook, Sean. And the last thing, no pass rush means Geno's going to have plenty of time. This can be a shootout.
Yeah, no,
DFS lineups will have players from this game.
I like any sort of Seattle offensive props. You can talk me into anyone. Jared in the chat pointing out, gentlemen, a sad day. We will not be able to bet a Boston Scott anytime touchdown. Do they do that ceremonial sign Boston Scott for a day contract?
Now you're starting to understand why Saquon was let go to the Eagles.
Why?
To get Boston Scott off the roster.
Interesting.
That was they were playing 4D chess.
What? Who do you think? I mean, there's no way Saquon could have as many touchdowns against the Giants as Boston Scott did. It's just not possible.
Oh, it sounds like a challenge, Saquon. I know you're listening.
This is like Kadarius Toney.
Kramer.
Oh, Sean, again, he's very weak-minded. You remember what happened when people found out where he lived and started screaming at him?
I don't remember.
He can't handle the heat. Oh yeah, that happened. He can't handle the heat.
The heat of strangers showing up at his house,
screaming at him. Dan Campbell is. Dan Campbell is.
I guess that sounds a little creepy as I listen back.
He couldn't handle people stalking him and screaming at him.
He's a grown ass man. Deal with it.
You sound like my cousin who collected autographs and like sports memorabilia is in that business. So that was his hustle business.
You want to talk about shady,
right?
Or shady reptile conventions or sports memorabilia. They're neck and neck.
He was up in Connecticut area. And like anytime Springfield, Mass, with the Basketball Hall of Fame, he'd come in like he'd catch him off the train, basically
clean up
off the plane, clean up. And we're talking about somebody. He's like, oh, Michael Irvin, complete asshole. Michael Irvin's an asshole. How come he wouldn't sign my helmet for him at this urinal at a strip club up in Connecticut? He goes up to him in a bathroom at a strip club.
Imagine bringing a helmet into a strip club.
Exactly. Like, he sounds like a real dick there, Kenny. Oh man.
Yeah, you're making me defend Michael Irvin in this anecdote,
which I wanted to agree with him, but I'm like, I kind of lean on Michael Irvin's side on that
with
one.
Michael Irvin. Something you don't hear very often.
Right.
CJ, what do you got? Give us a prop. Hit us with a prop.
I'll give Seattle offense in there. Since you guys like Seattle. I mean, that's the drinking game we're doing, right?
I do like connecting it.
I went right off. I like Tyler Lockett in this game. I've been liking Tyler Lockett. Geno's been connecting with him a lot recently. I like Lockett anytime he's in a dome too, and you can always get his numbers low. The JSN goes higher, but in these shootout games, he's going to get his. His numbers are 3.5, 46.5. Longest reception is always in play. I like going Lockett yards because he does spring a couple of those for like 22, 25. So 46.5 yards. We'll go higher than that. Higher just in case it's an underdog play. Tyler Lockett. Like you said, I think this is a huge shootout as well. I do want it to back Seattle, but I just can't do it.
Yeah, no, understandable. They'll figure out a way to fuck it up. I mean, Panthers. I don't know why I was thinking Panthers there. I was looking at my Xavier Leggett.
Because you love the Panthers.
I do. I'll get to the Panthers later. Next prop for me, going back to the well, running it back. Now there was a little bit of hubaloo because he got an MRI on his knee, but supposedly totally 100% healthy, full practice, doesn't seem to be slowed down. Give me Drake May over 28.5 rushing yards. Caleb Williams just had 4 for 56 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags play man coverage, turn and run. Drake May, obviously a willing rusher. Like he didn't even look that good running against the Texans and smashed the over last week. I think he goes over pretty easily again. 28.5 is low for Drake May. So give me the over. Drake May rushing yards, running it back, Ryan.
I'll be on that too. I'll save the audience from me repeating.
Okay. Appreciate that.
All right, let's we're going back to the George Kittle this week.
Chiefs versus the tight end.
Chiefs versus the tight end. I think you can play this one of two ways. He's on an absolute heater with the anytime touchdowns. and they haven't adjusted the price. He has scored a touchdown in what? He didn't play against the Rams, but going back to that Vikings game, he scored at +210, scored at +210 against the Pats, scored at +165 against the Cardinals, scored at +175 against the Seahawks last week. He got 2 of them, in fact. He's still +170. So you can play it that way. I'm just going to go play the yards. I think that the Chiefs have given up some this is funny because this started as me wanting to play a Kyle Juszczyk prop because it's the rematch of the Super Bowl and everyone remembers I had Kyle
never
Juszczyk
mentioned it, Ryan.
First reception in the Super Bowl at 30 to it's a small little memory of the past. But I wanted to get Juszczyk in there, who, by the way, his anytime, which we hit a couple weeks ago or back on Thursday night, is it's now +750. It's gone up for some reason, but I couldn't do it with Juszczyk because I was like, man, the Chiefs really are vulnerable against the tight end, and guess who's been locked in on the tight end? Brock Purdy. So we're gonna go George Kittle receiving yards over 48.5. Although I brought up the anytime touchdown just to highlight how even though he's on this insane heater, you would think his price is not low value. It's the same price it's been the entire time. So
CJ, what do you got?
Wow. All right. I'll keep it within the system. I'm going to piggyback off your play, Sean, there.
Okay.
Or Drake May play, which also, just to pad your stats there, I don't know if you know, Jacksonville gives up the 7th most rushing yards to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Over
what's that, man coverage, right?
Yeah, it's that man coverage and and a great defensive line that puts pressure. One thing about Jacksonville's defense, or Saxonville, as we have them out there, and they have been doing that, much like Houston, a much worse version of Houston. They will be pressuring Drake May, so he does scramble.
Forced to scramble.
Forced to scramble. And that's how he got 5 for 38 last week. I like his passing prop. It's pretty low for this Jacksonville defense. Their secondary is absolutely trash. Caleb Williams just lit him up for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
True.
When you talk about the receivers, they give the most receiving yards to wide receivers, second in the catches.
And Drake May, he did make some mistakes as far as throwing the 2 interceptions, and I think he also fumbled. But relatively accurate for a rookie.
61%, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Had some deep balls. Like I like. What is his yard set at?
His yard set is at 201.
What?
That's what I'm saying. I looked at him for a ladder, but I got a better one later on. That's also connected to do with Drake May. But 201 yards, I think that's an easy pickup. I mean, obviously, when you're in London, it's always, something's up in the air there. You don't want to rely on that. But the matchup is just too juicy, not for 201. And obviously, game script. I think Jackson. They're going to have to keep up with points for the rest of the way out. There's no situation where New England's sitting on a lead.
Yeah, unlikely. I mean,
don't want to jinx it, but
I mean, come on.
Famous last words.
No, and they're banged up at the running back position too.
Sure are.
Is Ramondre going to play? What do we think about that?
Yes.
Okay. So but he's not 100%. I do, and they do have some.
He's healthier
matchups.
than he was last week, I think.
Okay.
So I do think that he you would to expect him to be heavily involved would be if they're ahead.
There are a couple teams who are bad against the tight end. Chiefs are one of them, and the Rams also one of them. And you have on the other side Brock Bowers. I'm going to take him over 59.5 receiving yards. It's a high number, but Rams are bad against the tight end. It's the only really legit receiving threat for the Raiders. There's a decent chance they're playing from behind because I do think the Rams will be able to move the ball against the Raiders. It really just like Aiden O'Connell. What else does he have going in the passing game? Like you're just going to throw it to Brock Bowers a bunch. I like catches. I like receiving yards. I like touchdowns. Brock Bowers over 59.5 receiving yards. To me, this is vanilla, but it like vanilla ice cream. It tastes pretty good.
Is it better or worse that Myers is probably not going to be out there?
Well, I don't think he was out there, and I didn't. I missed this. Apologies to me. I do know Paul, but I missed that. He was out, or at least when did he get injured? He didn't. He didn't register a stat last game. I'm not 100% if he played or not.
Interesting.
But Brock Bowers 9 for 71 against the Steelers team, which is way better again. And
the bet detective is sensing something here.
What is that, CJ?
Now, Michael Myers has been missing in action.
Oh, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. MIA.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. Unexplained. Not even a rumor.
No.
Of what's going on, which is pretty rare. And this has been happening, last couple weeks, mostly October? Halloween,
if
you will.
Oh, Michael Myers.
Michael
Okay,
Myers, the month of October. Yeah, month of October.
Mysteriously
Halloween.
disappeared.
Yeah, kind of like Santa's missing December. Yeah, he's got work to do.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is around this country, horrifying little kids and setting up, and letting them
Maybe they'll say it's a team excused absence for creating mayhem and murdering people.
Is it excused apps? You don't want to know where Michael Myers is. That's the answer to that question. He's in all the Springfields or Haddonfields. That's what it is. Haddonfield's the town of.
More questions than answers.
Myers didn't play last week.
Yeah,
right. Who knows where he's at?
I think it'd be good.
Jacoby Myers and Michael Myers. I think Myers brothers are teaming up.
Myerses.
Yeah, him making it back would be a good thing.
The director was on. He's like 90 or whatever now. Is it Wes Craven? Who's the Halloween? Director?
You're asking the wrong person.
One of those guys.
Craven,
Wes Craven or somebody.
Craven Moorhead.
He was on the John Mulaney LA show, whatever, and he's talking about how that Halloween house it's by my place in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
And he gave out the actual address. He's like, yeah, go visit it. People will love it. And people are literally like, what the fuck? Now all people started showing up, kind of like at Saquon's. They couldn't take the heat for no reason. People are like showing up to the house. He's like, why would he say that? Like he's 90. He just says it. Yeah, they can't take the heat.
Harrison Bryant's also kind of interesting. None of his props are out. He's kind of been involved in the game plan. 3 for 24 last week. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep
more of a first touchdown.
Yeah,
right.
That's probably the egg.
Vanilla, I like it.
Vanilla
missionary position.
Vanilla Vic. Give me Brock Bowers over 59.5 receiving yards. Kramer, what do you got for the folks?
All right, so I'm on the Dolphins. You're on the Colts this week.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I like the Dolphins, I mentioned, I think the running game has opportunity, and it seems like they're getting healthy. Raheem Mostert is all the way back.
Do you like Raheem Mostert?
His anytime touchdown price is plus 320.
Really?
This is almost certainly one you're going to want to bet as soon as you can, because I would imagine any sort of what is the latest with Achan? Is he gonna clear the concussion protocol?
I don't. It's always tough to get stuff when they're coming out of the bye.
Either way, it sounds like the running back room is healthy, and what we know from the past is that Mostert is the goal line back for this unit, and so in the chance that they have some success against this Colts running rushing defense, and the Dolphins get up in this game and are able to lean on them, it seems like vibes are high. I may have fallen for watching too many press conferences with the Dolphins, but vibes are high, and Raheem Mostert is the leader of vibes being high. So let's go plus 320.
I always like,
and his wife just got in some. Well, she made news because she posted something trashing Kamala Harris, and of course it made the internet very angry.
I love when the internet finds out that rich people are Republicans. It's always hilarious to me.
It's like, wait, so the people that have a lot of money want to keep their money?
It's weird. Okay, I guess I wouldn't want to keep my money. Raheem Mostert anytime touchdown plus 320.
Please be mindful of your words. Raheem Mostert's wife, Devin Mostert, writes heartfelt letter after facing backlash for comments on Kamala Harris.
She called her trash. I mean, isn't this the land of free speech?
Yeah, I mean it is.
We used to all enjoy shitting on politicians. Yeah. Now it's like everyone takes it personally.
Well, the problem is if you shit on one politician, then people think you're actually that you're supporting the other politician.
Right. I see. And
if you shit on the blue team, that means you like the red team.
And it's identity politics. So you're shitting on them personally.
Yes.
That's what people think.
I would happily. I mean, we just shit on both.
Yeah,
just make sure you shit on both at the same time. Yeah. Like South Park does a good job of this.
CJ, do you have a prop for the audience?
Of course, that's correlated. Of course.
Oh, wow.
Now you did say I can't say he's one of the only teams that are bad against a tight end. That's very true. But another team that's very bad versus a tight end is the Green Bay Packers.
Yes,
in a huge shootout versus Houston. I think it's going to be a huge shootout. This is my Seattle Atlanta game of the week. I think I think Houston Green Bay is going to be into the 60s. Green Bay allows the 5th most yards of tight end in the entire position.
Oh.
Now, Dalton Schultz has not had a good year so far, but he has been coming on lately. And what the first game with Nico Collins out last week,
what did he do?
He ran the 2nd most routes on the team, had a 24% target share, had a decent game, about 40 yards. And you can get him at 3.5 or 36.5. I think this. I mean, you just
give me the yards.
Yeah, I think you fly with the yards here with Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is still a player that they pay And eventually, I mean, they pay handsomely is what I'm trying to say. And they usually do kind of balance out. He's not going to have a complete terrible year. I think with Nico Collins out, I mean, yes, you have Stephon Diggs out.
His slow start to me, it was probably just, the whole Stephon Diggs, the 3 receivers trying to figure out all those guys.
A lot of mouths to feed.
There's one less mouth to feed.
Sure. So I'll go over 36.5 yards. Dalton Schultz. Let's see if I have it in the open. One thing I didn't say to George, which I do respect.
Yeah, we'll have him on in a couple months.
That's a nice power move. Booked himself for the show later on.
I guess we'll have George back.
He did one before the show too. How long is this segment? 5, 10 minutes, 15, 20. Sounds good. All right. 30 minutes.
I should have thought of that anytime I was doing stand up. Just all right, 20, 35. I'll do 45.
30
and you'll
minutes.
Book me
Sounds
in 2
good.
months.
Right. Okay. Light me at an hour.
Yeah.
Ryan, it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. And I admit that you were wrong to force me into betting Will Levis. Now, there is a
Is this Sean accountability green?
Hey, we made a mistake betting him for most passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Although great CLV. So again, probably would make the bet again. I actually 100% would make the bet again.
Yeah. Great CLV. What's it at now? I would love to get in on the CLV.
That's true.
It might still be good CLV.
That's right. See if you can get that number.
I would like to get in on it now, to be honest with you.
I haven't seen those markets in a couple.
We are going to martingale.
Right, those markets are kind of.
We are going to martingale back all this money that we lost. We'll probably lose on Will Levis by taking Will Levis under 174.5 passing yards. He had 95 passing yards at home against the Colts defense that is horrific. Now he's going on the road, and we expect him to get 175 passing yards. And he's on an incredibly short leash. We saw it. The offense. The only time the Titans offense has consistently looked okay has been when Will Levis got knocked out of the game and Mason Rudolph came in.
That is the angle. Mason Rudolph getting in there for sure.
There's a decent there's a decent chance he just doesn't get there.
Well,
2, there's a decent chance he gets benched for Mason Rudolph. There's a lot of ways this doesn't happen. So Will Levis under 174.5 passing yards. And if they somehow are in a close game, there's no way they're going to let him throw the ball. They're going to be running it 3 times and punting and hoping their defense can get a touchdown that way. Like they're not going to let him. They're not going to let Will Levis be Will in this game.
Oh boy, you want to talk about? I mean, you believe in gambling gods, and you're going to do something like this?
No, I'm going.
This is going to ignite the. I
admit that I was wrong.
I like what you're doing here. You're trying to ignite the season-long prop back up.
Yeah, come on.
Fade him.
What better way? It's win-win. I mean, if he crushes this,
I
then
admit that you were wrong. Very big man. Very big man.
Oh, you new around here? Sean's never gotten something wrong on his own.
Never.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay. Well, this one Sean might not like to hear this one, but we're gonna tell a little story here. Okay. And I've heard a lot of people refer to the Giants secondary as being bad, one of the worst units in the league, complete trash. But Justin Jefferson, week 1, 4 catches, 59 yards. Terry McLaurin, week 2, 6 catches, 22 yards. CeeDee Lamb, decent game, 7 catches, 98 yards. If you remember, there was a one pretty big catch in there. And then DK Metcalf, 4 catches, 55 yards. And lastly, Jamar Chase, 5 catches, 72 yards. Jamar Chase relevant because he has T Higgins on the other side. Whew, none of those are really good outputs. You know why? They double team the number 1 on the other side every time. Every time. AJ Brown under whatever his number you can get.
Whatever his
73.5 is what I got.
Okay.
Sorry for your loss, Ryan. AJ Brown. He's a dog. He's 2 games, 119, 116.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what the scheme's going to do.
Okay, well
they've done it in every game.
Then smash Devonta Smith, Grant Calcaterra, Saquon Barkley.
Devonta Smith, I think, is probably the potentially the angle you'd want to take, but
you're crazy to fade AJ Brown.
Well, maybe you weren't paying attention.
I was.
Is Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase, are they on the right level to be using this comparison?
No, AJ Brown's way better
than all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
McLaurin went over. You said
no. CeeDee Lamb was the only one to go over.
He's better than CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee
I
Lamb
thought you
was
said McLaurin had 98.
22. CeeDee Lamb had 98.
Oh, okay. He had the big catch, right? Okay.
Justin Jefferson 59. I'm just telling you,
Trash.
they're gonna double team AJ Brown and take him out of this game.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
They could be up so big at halftime they sit on the lead.
Oh,
There's
you're
no
right.
passing. That's
Okay.
kind of
Again-
that's probably what happened with JJ, right?
Yeah.
They weren't throwing the ball.
Again,
They were up 28-3.
This is one of my strongest plays of the season.
Yes. I like that.
Strongest plays of the season.
Strongest play or strongest lean?
No, this is a double play.
Wow.
This is a like full penetration.
So we can do reverse pitfall
Like,
ladder.
there's no playing around, no foreplay,
So-
right in.
So can we do the rope ladder down like pitfall where you go?
Oh.
Well, you-
where you run the rings down?
Well, then Kramer might, he might turn it into a noose after AJ Brown
you
gets
mean?
75 yards on the first drive.
Well, a noose so I can create more pleasure for myself.
That's between you and yourself, I guess.
Cake is shoelaces. We don't want any.
If when they come out with the alt totals,
Right. Rope ladder.
I think we may have to have a bonus slide on the Beeson show. I'll at least save it for the best bet.
The pitfall sound effect would be good for that when he goes down the hill. That'd be good. And we go.
AJ Brown under 73 and a half
All right.
receiving yards.
Wow.
Amazing.
Hater.
Not a hater.
CJ?
I laid out a lot of data and stats, analytics to back myself.
Anything
up there.
under is a hater in this show. If you
Yes,
ask me.
come
I
on.
don't put those vibes out
Some
there.
of us have
I'd never
been
go
crushing the props.
Although I did go low. with the-
We all had a great prop show.
I went 5-0 last week
Oh.
with a plus 450 in
Yeah.
there. You can go ahead and tout that. Hit that tout button.
This side of the table has been pretty fire.
I hit the Andy Dalton over receiving yards.
Listen, I'm man enough to admit when you're wrong, Sean.
Someone sent us an Underdog fantasy where they combined
Oh man,
our winners, and it was 1,000 to 1.
I hate when
which
that
was
happens.
insane. Because then, it's awesome for the audience, but
No,
I'm
I
like,
hate it.
why did I not do that? What am I missing?
Yeah, I went 5-0 with a plus 450, and the
What the fuck was that?
and I did have an under of a white angle release. That's how that was a hater play if I've ever done a hater. The Lad McConkey under, which hit barely, only because he was going against a white cornerback.
Oh, did you see that? I just saw a weird thumbs down flash across over
Yeah.
CJ's head.
No,
Really?
that
Over my head?
I don't know if does
In
that
real life or on the screen?
On the
I think
screen.
is that only on StreamYard or is that?
I have no idea where is that coming from.
Oh, you haven't been noticing those?
Is that
No.
is that George getting into the new technology? That's how he gets to the new hater
is this
world.
people reacting?
No, I think when we get thumbs up and thumbs down,
Oh, they
I
show
think
up on the
I think it
screen.
shows up on StreamYard. I don't think it actually shows up on the.
And it locks into my
Can the
face.
chat? Can the people see that? Chat. Do you see this crazy sorcery?
I
I
don't
don't-
see it.
I don't know how Ryan just noticed that. It's been
Really?
going on for a while.
I think it's George coming in
Yeah.
there with that new technology and finding new ways to hate on things.
I did enjoy how George pioneering picks on Twitter in 2018.
Yeah, he was the first one to give him out, and he had a bad year, then a good year, and his followers do
Anyway.
that. What I love about George's new technology, I forgot to bring it up because I of course love the Notebook
Yeah.
and his video content. He as a man here, man in the box, whose life gets consumed with editing videos and clips and putting up things. He doesn't do any of that. He sits at the kitchen table.
Just if it's 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes.
Opens up the book and just talks for
Yeah.
5 minutes, whatever it takes, and you're going to listen to it. And he points it, shows it. I mean, the video could be 40 seconds tops. And he's making them 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and I'm watching all of it. So I respect that. And anything that gets us people not from editing, I'm all for it. Push that forward.
Yes. Well, he's an auteur. He's not.
He
gonna,
is right.
He's
A lot of people got to look that word up now.
auteur. Our audience knows auteur, Ryan. Come on. Give him a little credit. CJ, what's your final prop?
Auteur Eckler.
Or
Is that what we're talking about?
Wait, what prop are you on? 4, CJ?
Let's see.
CJ's
here.
on 4.
Yeah,
4.
I'm on 4. Let's see.
What do you
here.
got for the audience?
We got
We got our ladders coming up. We got the D-Gens only
All right,
coming
so we
up.
got
as well.
5, then a ladder.
5,
right?
then a ladder.
All right, so I'll do this one real quick.
Just real quick.
Yeah. I already talked about the plus money one that I gave out with Hunter Henry last week there, plus 450 anytime touchdown. We'll do it this one. Our guy who we've been talking about all in the preseason, the funniest guy in sports, the most country guy in sports, Xavier Leggett, who scored 2 out of the last 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
touchdowns. Washington gives up the sixth most yards to receivers, but also they're tied for giving up the most touchdowns to wide receivers with 10 touchdowns. This Washington secondary.
It's not good.
Love it.
Yeah, and I mean Baltimore finally put them up on them. They did put up a couple good numbers, but yeah, this should be a lot of points. Obviously, Washington's going to put up whatever number they want. Carolina's going to be able to score. So give me Xavier to get, especially with Deontay Johnson now banged up, limited.
DNP today.
Right, and Xavier's just been stepping up ever since Adam Tien went to the IR. He's been stepping up. So I love Xavier Gett. I have Rookie of the Year tickets that I can rip up on him, but I love him. I think he gets in the end zone. Plus 220 to get in the end zone this week.
Love it. Yeah, I had him last week running it back.
I do believe Deontay Johnson has missed practice on a Thursday before this year and played though.
Okay,
so just worth noting.
We also know he is a coward who does not care if he's not 100%. He will not play, and that's why he got ran out of Pittsburgh.
Well, also if you're not familiar with the story of him going out to dinner with Dave Canales when he got traded to the or signed with the Panthers. And he had a whole dinner and didn't know it was the head coach.
How does that happen?
That just there's something missing there.
That's awesome.
Ryan, you might not like this one.
What do you mean?
But I'm gonna take.
I like winners.
This is a plus 180 winner. Guy by the name, been taking a lot of heat. Backs against the wall. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Really dug deep
against your vaunted New York Giants. In both games, Jalen Hurts has had AJ Brown. He's thrown 2 touchdowns. Simple math. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, a connection that's damn near unstoppable. And you're getting plus 180. Smash it. Smash it. Smash. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 180. That's bonkers. Great price.
They've given up 7 on the season, so
yeah.
Good luck. There were 6 games though.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You dug deep. You got the Eagles one. I thought you were going to leave it blank in honor in memorial, a Boston Scott memorial blank prop spot.
I don't think they're signing for the day, but they should do like the pre-coin flip ceremony of simulating a Boston Scott touchdown run, kind of like before the NFC Championship game. I remember they recreated the Wilbert Montgomery run before before the last time they played Dallas in 1980 NFC Championship.
Is he on a team?
It was kind of weird. He was like running against kids. Oh, we can find him, right? Where's Boston Scott possibly?
Oh no, he's not on a team. It looks like he
was on the Rams.
Got cut by the Rams. Got cut by the Steelers. Maybe he's on a practice squad.
So he's around. He's available. Is what you're trying to say.
Like he might be available. That would be. I mean, if they signed him
awesome.
on a Friday.
Awesome. Last I've seen, he joined the Steelers practice squad a month ago.
Yeah. So he. Oh man, Arthur Smith elevates a Boston Scott situation. So we might have a Boston Scott touchdown in our
that would be great.
All right, number 5.
Yep. What do you got?
All right, we highlighted on the pick show, Sean, that the Carolina Panthers have a pretty big advantage over the Atlanta Falcons, the Washington Redskins in the run game. Specifically, looking at the 5th in line yards, going against the 27th ranked unit on the Washington side, and they just lost Jonathan Allen. Chuba Hubbard's number, Sean, is 69.5. He has crushed this.
Yeah.
92 last week, 97 before that, 104, 114. You get the point. They've only bumped this number up from 50 or from 56.5 to start the year.
What an easy, that was a nice win in best ball, Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. I mean, again, it seems pretty obvious. Yeah. They've opened the window now for Jonathan Brooks to start practicing, and maybe but why not phase him in slowly?
Look good too.
Yeah, I would say like the one thing this team has had that is looking good, and maybe the thing that's taken the biggest step forward from having Andy Dalton be the quarterback is the running game.
Yeah.
So Chuba Hubbard over 69.5 rushing yards. I almost considered making this a ladder, not very juicy, but Sean, we might have to look into this for the VSiN show, because if this is their advantage in the game. They have to lean into this. So I think they have to give them a lot of volume early in the game, and hopefully that leads to the game staying closer. And again, if this Washington defense is average giving up something like 23 carries for 120 yards to running backs, seems like a smash play.
What is the Jonathan Brooks update?
He's practiced. Well, they opened the window. He practiced, and then today he's not practicing.
Okay.
So everything I've read is like, why would you want to rush this guy back? You're not competing for shit this year. He's like this, you don't want to ruin his recovery process. So, like Sean said, keep letting Chuba be the bell cow. Let this guy come in for a couple plays here.
Moo. We need a bell cow sound effect. maybe Cal, something like that. Or Ryan,
You got a
we do have
cowbell for crying out loud. I mean, how
there
detailed do you want to get?
Grab it, Ryan.
Get,
We need a bell cow backside.
go grab it. Yes.
While I'm up there, I got my Kyle
Chuba.
They're not booing. They're saying chew.
Play Chuba.
Shout out to Mississippi State, Hail State.
I thought the Kyle Joseph shout out was coming.
CJ, what do you got?
Last one. This was a possible ladder. Just missed the ladder card. The
Near ladder. I like that.
Number wasn't quite. Yeah, near ladder wasn't quite the juicy number I want. But Jordan Addison in that Minnesota Detroit game.
Yeah.
Let's tackle this Detroit secondary, who is bad already. I mean, they gave up the most receptions to wide receivers, fourth most yards, over 1,056 and 95. Their safety is hurt. Who's that? Oh, I blank on his name. Not Brian Blades. What's his name?
Branch.
Brian Branch.
Blades.
I know. Oh, I love all the Blades boys, the Blades brothers. Branch, he's not going to play in this game apparently. He had a huge game last week, but so that secondary is already in trouble. Then you have to take out Hutchinson. This defense is going to be a mess. I like the Vikings this week. But Jordan Addison, his numbers are 5.
Oh, okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, 3.5, 51.5. Which seems pretty low for the number 2 wide receiver. He's had a couple bad weeks, but off the bye. I think this with Minnesota in general. We're just hoping that Sam Darnold and his team just went away over the bye in Europe. We're like, we forget how great they were.
They were awesome.
And then, they had not a great game in Germany versus the Jets, but so what? I think they come right back against a terrible Detroit secondary. Give me Jordan Addison over 3.5 receptions or 51.5 yards. I'll take the receptions.
Yeah. No, I see. I certainly setting up to be a shootout, although division games end up being a little tighter, it seems. But
Aaron Jones banged up. They'll be throwing the ball, I think, even more. And I think Sam Darnold slings it. He just came out. He brought out the USC Trojans to your Penn State Lions the other game. I was at the Coliseum when I was getting roasted. Penn State wound up coming up top. But it's funny when it's watching someone come back like, we hated you, but now all of a sudden he's good. He did something good. Hey, you won the lottery. Come back to town. Right. So, I like Jordan Addison.
All right, we got our ladders. About to launch ladders. Before we do, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Get you a nice 50% deposit match up to $1,000 when you use the promo code SGPN. NFL. I mean, it is Boostober, baby. Boostober. NBA kicking off, tipping off soon. Hockey, letting it slide. So many ways to win over on Underdog. Just use that promo code SGPN. 50% deposit match up to $1,000. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Before we get to Underdog entry, DGen only props. We also we got a lot to get to here. We of course our ladder props, and this ladder prop ladder segment brought to you by Rhythm sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Start crushing it with some NFL, college football, NFL props. I just tweeted this out, but worth reading a DM I got regarding the success of Underdog because
we love celebrating successes.
This guy wrote in, Rhythm is legit. I've had good luck with 70% win rate, even parlayed some and won those as well. So good. I pay for the sub, and I typically don't pay for info, but I must say you and Ryan's props are typically fire as well. I just need to nut up and bet bigger now that I'm feeling more confident. Thanks, Sean. Well, thank you. And thanks, Rhythm sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Rhythm likes this gentleman's over 37.5 receiving yards. I like it as well. I like it so much. I'm saying, get the beanstalk out, get the ladder out, grab the stick, because I'm all in on Xavier Worthy this week against the pretty decent San Francisco 49ers defense. But this is why we're getting a good price. And Andy Reid has had 2 weeks to figure out some plays for Xavier Worthy. I mean, Chiefs are dead last in the NFL in explosive play rate. How long do you think that's going to last? I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Reid has a couple nice deep shots drawn up for Xavier Worthy that they're going to end up connecting on. 49ers, while their defense is solid overall, not amazing against receivers in particular. 37.5, you can get that obviously right around -110. 57.5, getting like 2-1. 78.5 plus 465. 97.5.
Come on.
It's a breakout game for a rookie receiver in a Patrick Mahomes offense. Remember how high people thought they were going to draft him, and he's going to open up the entire offense. Rashee Rice is still out. Travis Kelce's old. I mean, maybe you think Juju Smith-Schuster just ends up being the greatest receiver of all time, but if he takes a step back, there's a nice window for Xavier Worthy coming off the bye. We see it all the time. Rookies that first week after the bye, they understand things a little bit more, got some time to rest, break down some film. Xavier Worthy ladder, you can play it up to 108.5 at 20-1. Xavier Worthy receiving yards. Kramer.
Oof. I mean, how high can that go? Because I feel like I
think they have like a 118.
You're obligated to get that as high as possible,
Right.
with the way that he plays.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm actually in a way I'm chasing some production from last week.
Okay.
And your Drake May rushing angle is ladderable this week again for
I
sure.
think so, yeah.
Because to your point, if you look at the way that the Texans play defense, there's a lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same heavy man, heavy formations where at best maybe there's a safety looking at quarterback, but everyone else is turning and covering their receiver. And so when you think about the fact that the Texans didn't have to play that kind of defense later in the game because they were just dominating, in a more competitive game, Drake May could really go nuts. I think 70 yards is something like 10-1. Just worth noting. Maybe something for later in the week, Sean. But Demario Douglas absolutely roasted the coverage. He's been roasting everyone. He's one of the top receivers in the league in terms of separation, and you saw the connection with Drake May. I was very wrong about it being Jalen Polk. It's Demario Douglas. Drake May talking about it. Quote: "He can get open in a phone booth. He's always where I expect him to be." 11 targets, 11 catches last week. Again, against a lot of the similar coverage that he's going to see against the Jags. If you're worried about Campbell coming back, doesn't matter. Douglas operates out of the slot, so I don't think they're going to be able to man him up or anything like that. So I would expect Demario Douglas to go nuts again. Receiving yards ladder, 45.5 is the base.
Oh, let's go.
60 plus is plus 180, 70 plus is 275, 80 plus is 420, 90 plus is 650, which is what he did last week.
Yeah.
100 yards plus 950 against the defense that has
very similar to the Texans.
Well, they play more man coverage and they're worse at it.
Yeah, it's a similar style.
And they have
but
a worse pass
version.
rush. So I actually think like this is why I almost got myself into picking the Patriots in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It was the combination of just discovering that I think I like Drake May in the draft process, so I'll be excited if he's good. But also, I think I'm very worried that Doug Peterson could get left in London.
But you did select the Jaguars.
I know. But remember, I tried. I was getting to the place where I was like, "Can we take the Patriots?" You're like, "No, we already made this pick last week."
No,
yep, you're right. We already made this pick last week.
Yeah,
Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas. Who, by the way, Sean, one of our for the AFC East, Pop Douglas was my my play on the underdog entry. So he's coming to life here. Because a couple of weeks like this, and he's going to crush all his season long stuff. Again, we're swatting drones if he gets to 100 yards plus 950.
Love it.
Amazing.
CJ, what do you got for your ladder? The laddie daddy himself.
The laddie daddy himself. I love that Demario Douglas play. Another one that almost made the list.
Thank you.
Actually, it was one of my pivots if I needed to. But I can pivot out, pivot in.
I like how
CJ has backup ladders.
Gotta have backup ladders. We didn't exchange notes. We were too busy about the George interview. We were too nervous. It was too crazy around here.
I mean, also
there was some nervous energy.
Right.
I hope George likes us.
Yeah, for sure.
He liked us.
Yeah.
Also, can I say it's the ultimate revenge game, that New England Jacksonville game? Not versus Jacksonville, but the New England Patriots in London.
Oh yeah.
For crying out loud. I mean,
pretty disrespectful.
Yeah.
All these years later to go back and stomp on their ground.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty funny when we roll out. Someone had a good social media post about like us unfurling a giant like 50-yard flag, rubbing it in their face. Hey, remember when you started a colony? Then we beat you in a a war for our own independence, and now we're flying back to explain what real football is.
That's so
Suck
funny.
our red, white, blue stars.
Nice.
It's our ultimate flex.
I absolutely love it. Yes, yeah, that situation. I don't think they will leave Doug Peterson over in England. I think that he's fired the second they step on American soil, win or lose in this game. I think it's one of those things you go on a vacation with your girlfriend, maybe like, oh, let's see if we can travel together. You know, you step it up that level.
Yeah.
Then you get in some bad fights and you realize you decide you're going to break up. But
Where am I going to take my I mean, hotel lobby.
we paid for the week here. We have the itinerary. We have the travel. We have the, we have the hotel. We have the tours. So we're going to finish the vacation. But as soon as we get back to America, we're split. And I think that's what's going to happen with Doug Peterson. I mean, he's just hanging around.
I know someone who did that. Like they already paid for the vacation.
Yeah, he paid for the vacation.
They broke up before they left.
And
they
it still went?
went.
Yeah. That's amazing. I can see that. Yeah, I planned for this. I got off work, pal. I'm coming. You can fucking, you can say you're not feeling it all you want. But I'll tell you what I'm feeling is a goddamn Four Seasons hotel that we got paid for.
That's like that great Chris Rock. I'm not going to move back with my mom because you're not in love. He's like, if you're making $30 million
right.
and, a year, 15 million, you can get by. But if you're making 30,000
you're right.
and I got to give up half of that.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Great
All right,
bet.
so I'll pivot to that Colts Dolphins game. I'm going back to my roots with this ladder because I did not hit the ladder last week. So one of my original ladders. I love anytime you get these Colts receivers because first of all, you have the offense of Steichen's offense, nothing but explosive plays. I do believe Richardson will play. I don't care if Flacco does get in there. I hope he does, but I think Richardson is. I think there's more of a better situation for him at home, more rested. He was that. What was him and Jonathan Taylor cooking at fucking Popeyes? Or
I
something
did see
the
they
week?
took over a shift there.
Yeah, took over a shift. He got a haircut. So,
But both those guys, are they going to play? Jonathan Taylor also.
Taylor, I don't think is going to play at all.
I have no idea
What's
what to make
worse,
of
that
game.
or a Travis Scott concert? Basically the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a lot more slippery. In a,
Basically the same thing. You got a side job?
No,
You got a side hustle?
that would be like going to a Travis Scott concert is bright lights and loud music, which is the exact opposite of how you recover from a concussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you a medical doctor?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I
I
know
didn't know.
if Jonathan Taylor,
my bad. I didn't know.
If Jonathan Taylor was like, I don't know, kicking field goals with his bad right ankle, then I think people would have a problem.
Okay.
All right. I will say in Neighbor's defense, it was at MetLife Stadium. Maybe he didn't even know there was a concert going on there.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to get some extra
Showing
work
up.
in.
Those
yeah.
weren't his dollars.
He was at MetLife Stadium at 4 a.m.
Yes,
putting in the
right.
work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh,
You guys are making great points.
there's another venue going on. Sure, I'll check out
Right.
the venue.
Has it come out yet that it was just a suspension for the Travis Scott concert and not?
No, he's healthy and recovered.
Okay.
I think it was unrelated. Yeah.
Oh,
Again, we're not medical doctors, so how could we comment?
Were you upset that he was not wearing Giants gear on the sideline like other Giants fans were? That Sunday
Ryan
night
doesn't
game?
wear Giants gear. He understands it. He understands the shame.
I don't have a problem with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, neither do I. But I do like how Giants fans and other Giants fans are going against other Giants fans saying,
Have you seen him play receiver?
Please don't scare him like we did with Beckham. Don't scare him out of this town.
Oh, the difference is Beckham's like Beckham is like the pretty boy version of him. Like he's the guy who doesn't actually carry the gun.
If he's getting yelled at for being at a Travis Scott concert, I can see where he thinks.
But going to a parade is
right.
kind of a pretty boy thing. Right?
Sure.
No, not at LSU. He was in the SEC, Sean. I mean, Beckham would have been
Parades are
going to
different.
a boy band concert, not a Travis Scott concert.
CJ, what is your ladder?
My ladder of course I'm not going to take Michael Pittman, although his numbers have come down. Actually, and he's kind of it's almost a 1-1A situation. But Alec Pierce just made the injury list today. He played yesterday, but today he did not practice. He was not a full participant. Never a good sign on Thursday being added to an injury report. Now, Wednesday is fine. I won't freak out over that. But when you play Wednesday, then get added on Thursday, and you're someone as fragile as Alec Pierce is to begin with, who's also a boomer bust guy anyway. It's an opportunity for Josh Downs.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Flacco's guy too.
Yeah,
he loves
Flacco's guy. And Flacco's guy, and like I said, AR-15, if he goes in there, you know the stat, how many games he actually finishes. So I'm handicapping, even if Flacco doesn't get in, just his presence alone, giving the knowledge of his magic of Flacco being in there. I want all parts of this Colts team as long as Flacco is involved in any place. Give me Josh Downs. 42 yards is the base of that ladder.
Really? That's where it starts?
That's where we're starting at. I mean, that's just to ground it. Make sure you're not going to get
unreal.
the numbers right.
That seems crazy.
Continue.
And then it goes to 52. He's a little plus money. We'll skip a few rungs. I like bringing Josh down because when I hit him over 100 yards anyways. Let's go to 74 yards. You can get him at plus 190.
Last home game in a dome, obviously with the Colts there against the Steelers defense, 8 for 82 and a touchdown.
8 for 82 and a touchdown. And that was without all the Flacco magic.
Yeah.
In there. 83 yards plus 274. That's if he hits that. Then you want to get up to the gutters, 93 yards, very reasonable for a Josh Downs game.
Oh,
and
very
game
reasonable.
here, Colts Dolphins in Indianapolis. That's plus 408 on Betto line. An easy 100-yard game is plus 618. And then, of course, we'll beanstalk this up a little bit. Two more rungs on the beanstalk. You go ahead and hit that button.
Can you? We got a beanstalk request.
We got a beanstalk request for Josh Downs at 113 yards at plus 957. Then don't look down. Take the hand of your Sage Guide. Plus 123 is 123 yards is plus 1523.
Woo-wee.
15-1 for Josh Downs to get over 120 yards.
Get the stick. And even in his 2-year career, he's already had a 125-yard game.
Right. He gets these
against
games.
the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's why he is beanstalkable, if you will.
Very beanstalkable.
Xavier Worthy, very beanstalkable, like Kramer was pointing out. You got to go all the way to the top with some of these speed guys.
Yes, 100%. All right, D-Gen's only bets, and then we talk a little underdog entry to cap things off.
And then I go watch some youth soccer.
How fun.
Yeah.
D-Gen's, for me, Brock Bowers 2 touchdowns is 16-1. Like that as a solo play, and I also like it as part of my parlay. Brock Bowers should have a great matchup. Rams already gave up a 2 touchdown game to the Tucker Kraft couple games back there. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. They are very soft to tight end touchdowns and tight ends in general. And then CJ liked Xavier Legette for a touchdown. Make it 2. Make it 2, boy. Utah. Give me Xavier Legette 2 touchdowns, 20-1. Everything CJ added on, and his red zone targets are pretty good. Now he's had Deontay Johnson 11 red zone targets, Xavier Legette 4, David Moore 2, but Xavier Legette has the same number of red zone touchdowns 2 compared to Deontay Johnson on way less targets, and Deontay Johnson's 3 catches on 11 targets. Xavier Legette 2 catches on 4 targets. I like this if Deontay Johnson plays and is at 100%, and I love it even more if he's trending in the wrong direction and doesn't play. So I would get this in now, like I'm doing. Parlay these 2 touchdowns together, 356-1. Let it ride. Kramer,
that's a good number.
Thank you.
All right, so I've been doing some first we did some defensive touchdowns, then we just did some 2 touchdowns. Now we're just gonna go. I see these long anytime touchdown parlays every weekend, and I get jealous. So we're gonna do one this weekend. 6 legs, $100 will pay you $15,383.
Wait, what?
Oh my God!
It's 153-1.
Okay.
Did I do bad math?
No.
How's everyone else making $500,000 on these $3 parlays?
$100, 15,300.
That sounds reasonable. Reasonable.
All right, so we'll start with a DK Metcalf. I grabbed the headset to talk to the offensive coordinator. Anytime touchdown. We'll throw in a Chuba Hubbard. I love this matchup for them against the Washington
Chuba's got
Commanders.
a little dog in him.
Then we go to the Detroit Minnesota game. We're going to drop in Justin Jefferson and Jamison Williams. Again, a lot of this feels chalky, right? A lot of these chalkier types. And then we're going to head over to the Kansas City game where we're going to throw in George Kittle and Xavier Worthy. Those 6 guys. I didn't say one ridiculous guy.
No.
Worthy and JMO are the long shots. Those 6 guys, $100, $15,383.
Oh my God!
You're welcome.
It's incredible. Incredible value.
Incredible is probably a strong
CLV. CJ, give us a
#Legends only
parlay.
150-1.
You can do this.
Lord, that's fantastic. Well, I'm trying to break it down as simple because, like I said, I swept the board last week. We were at the props 5-0 with a plus 450. I didn't hit the ladder, and these D-Gen parlays have come kind of close. I have a little sweat, which is all you can ask for. But I want to take a page out of your guys' notebook in honor of George. Take a page out of the books and just have two things that happen.
Oh, that's good.
Just two things.
Just a simple two things.
Okay.
And two early things too. Get it in, get it out. Yes, there's the anytime touchdown parlays, but it's 5-6 guys. I mean, that's a lot. That's asking for a lot. You know,
I like to give the people diversity
for sure, and it seems all
DEI
reasonable
parlay
things to do. The better way to do that, or juicier way to do it, the more fun way to do that. 2 first-time touchdown guys. That's all you got to do.
Yes.
I've seen those online too.
Oh,
I like that.
I've gotten close to hitting one of those.
Yeah.
Have not tasted the sweet nectar of a first touchdown parlay.
And there's nothing better than hitting that first leg of that first touchdown, which I believe I did have. I think it was like the
playoffs I had.
Then you're live.
Right. Yeah. Then you're live. You're juicing.
The playoffs I had it. I hit with Kelsey. I went chalky. So I did a couple different versions where like one chalky, one long shot early game, and then one chalk. And so my chalky play of Kelsey hit against the Ravens in that playoff game. And then I was sweating out. I think I was going back and forth between Khalif Raymond and Jamison Williams. I was like, and I went Khalif Raymond because I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah.
And it was Jamison Williams. So close.
Great story.
Loser.
Great story, bro, as they say on that.
Loser.
Come on, it was a fun sweat.
No, absolutely. It was a fun sweat. I remember I had Malik Willis a couple weeks ago, the revenge game in Tennessee. And that was my angle, the revenge first touchdown. He lied about not wanting revenge, and he got it. And then when you're live, when you already hit a 15-1 the first leg, you're feeling pretty good. No matter what happens, that's a fun sweat. You're already counting your lottery ticket winners, you know. But anyway, we're not going to go that far. So two man first touchdown parlay, 1 9-1, 1 8-1, kind of solid, but also not chalky at all. I looked for numbers because I will stay tuned to VSiN, looking for ladder numbers for these guys. These are two guys I like a lot this weekend. We talked about Jonathan Taylor probably not playing in that game.
Doesn't look good.
I'm not a Trey Sermon fan. He's absolute fucking trash.
Love this.
Piano on his back.
Piano on his back, Trey Sermon.
Love that football
He's
term.
bet on a lot of teams for a reason. Tyler Goodson.
This is the sharpest play you've ever
I don't even know who this guy is, but I'm 100%.
Tyler Goodson is a reason why the Colts didn't win the division last year. Well, Steichen was for putting him in there for Jonathan Taylor on that fourth down. He's the one who dropped the pass as a rookie, drafted by the Packers. Then he went over to the Colts.
Now I remember.
He's the third down back. He's had 8 targets in the last 2 games, but he will also run the ball as well. And then, so I think he can be. I think he is the best back they will have on the field. You have him at 9-1 scored the first touchdown. The Indianapolis Colts versus the Dolphins. I like all of his numbers as well as soon as they come out.
I had to look this up. I apologize, but you would also remember him from Iowa.
Yes,
we won a bet in a game where he scored like a late touchdown. It was like probably like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is very sharp.
Thank you very much. He's very sharp. And you're talking about when you're talking about Miami, they gave up the 7th most yards of running backs in general. They're a nice soft target when it comes to the running back situation. And now, of course, you have to worry about Anthony Richardson and Vulture and touchdowns. We're doing the first touchdown parlay, but I like Tyler Goodson in general. And he's bounced back, and he's got the fans rooting for him after that drop last year on the 4th down, which of course, once again, was not his fault. Never should have been in the game. Now we'll switch over to another running back. In that Carolina-Washington game, you guys already brought up Chuba Hubbard. I know Jonathan Brooks is still on ice. I don't know what's going on with Brian Robinson over there in Washington as well. And you're talking about a Carolina team that gives up 800 yards.
Very bad to the running back.
Horrible to the running back. 12 touchdowns they've given up to the running back. Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing great lately.
CJ cracked the code.
I'm liking like 2 RB2s that will play as RB1s this week. Austin Eckler's 8-1 first touchdown. Parlay that with Tyler Goodson 9-1 first touchdown. That's 89-1 for those 2 guys to score the first touchdowns in the game.
Brilliant. Great.
I can't wait. Hopefully the first one hits.
Yeah.
Shout out to FNP commenter. First time catching it live. LFG. Longtime listener. Bo Nix rushing out ladder bigly tonight. So he's on the Bo Nix rushing stuff. Always love a good Bo Nix rushing total. All right. Let's close it out with a little underdog entry. Underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Kramer, you're first. What do you got for this weekend?
Do we want to do something that we discussed today? Or
You can always go off board. I kind of like.
I'm guessing
keeping
you
it
don't
to our
want to do
guys.
AJ Brown on my best play of the day. AJ Brown under receiving yards.
That won't
then
make the
my
card.
second best play. I would say we either go Mostert if they have the Mostert touchdown in there.
Okay.
If not, we go Geno Smith higher passing it.
They do have Mostert touchdown.
How spicy is it?
It's 2.18x.
Let's go Geno.
Okay,
We have some boost to use. We can boost it ourselves.
Yes, we're like the Fast and Furious crew. So Geno Smith higher 263.5 passing yards. CJ, what would you like to add to this underdog entry?
Do we want to add anything for tonight?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right.
Let's
Fair
keep
enough.
it for Sunday.
All right. Just making sure. I was just saying.
But I appreciate the effort.
Well, because someone did mention in my comments today earlier on the Bottom Line Bombs, which everyone should be subscribed to on the
Smash that subscribe button.
Please.
that it is an Adam Troutman revenge game.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
I like that.
Of course, the coach's son.
Yeah.
He wishes he could have gotten Taysom Hill, but he settled for Adam Troutman.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost a crime that we did not mention him, but I mean, this anytime touchdown is almost a lock, like Aaron Jones in Green Bay, which never happened. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown higher than a half of touchdowns.
This is insane. This is insane.
0.83. CJ did it. He's impartial.
What do you mean? This is ridiculous. I mean,
all right. So we have Saquon Barkley higher 0.83x. You're a big Saquon guy, Ryan.
Do you feel he's not going to score this week?
I feel like he's thinking about everything that's not football this week.
Tickets. He already said he's not going to get booed, so that's going to happen. So he's going to be a nice warm reception.
He went to some
him.
fucking therapy and was like, "Oh no, they don't." You know, the therapist convinced him.
Yeah, he put it on the Giants fans. Listen, if you guys boo me, it's on you. You're scumbags now. Because I already said I think better of you than that.
I did like the
At
reverse
this point,
psychology.
one of the things I think many people in the building will be holding on to is an opportunity to boo this turncoat fuck.
This is what it's for.
This soft little bitch.
Wow.
I'm gonna clip this and send it to Saquon.
Please do.
Bulletin board
He'll
material.
probably reply.
Can't
That's
take-
how aware he is of social media.
Can't take the heat of death threats, that pussy.
People showing up at his house screaming in his face. Geno Smith higher 263.5 passing yards. Saquon Barkley higher rushing receiving touchdown, and Xavier Worthy higher 38.5 receiving yards. Feel like that's something we can all agree on. Nice little 5x without the profit boost. Toss on a 31% profit boost. You're cooking with gas here.
I'm going to put a small amount on that one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to replace the Barkley with the AJ Brown under and boost it. And that's going to be my actual mega play.
All right. Well, there you go. Maybe you can take Ryan's losing ticket over there. Big thanks to GRP Wins, CJ Sullivan. Check him out. Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Check us out tomorrow night on VSiN.
Please.
8:00 Pacific, 11:00 East. Fun late night show. And if you're out in the Vegas area, always come by, say hi after the show. We end around 11:00.
We have a very
local
special
time.
Very special guest on the show tomorrow as well.
Oh yes, Katie Mox will be joining us
Oh,
talking
Katie Mox.
49ers Chiefs.
Yes.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Sean, horrible idea to bet on Saquon Barkley this weekend.
Kramer, let it ride.
Tony back.